What's up guys, Ghost here, and today I wanted to take a look at Battlefront and see what's changed since the game's release. So far we've had 2 patches and a number of issues have been addressed. A large section of these changes revolve around balanced walker assault, and anyone who played the beta on Hoth will know that some changes in that regard were sorely needed. So firstly, they've removed the AT-AT player control spawn and the TIE interceptor spawn for the final set of uplink stations on Hoth. So again, those of you who played the beta will remember those final uplink stations surrounded by a maze of trenches was completely open to, turrets, the AT-AT and TIE interceptors. So definitely a good change there. It's a pity we didn't see it upon release, since it was glaringly obvious in the beta, but hey, better late than never. In a similar fashion, the TIE interceptors have also been removed from the final uplink stations on Sullust. Indeed, I have spent many around there farming the hell out of the rebels in a TIE interceptor on that particular set of uplink stations, so perhaps that was necessary. Adversely, the AT-AT has had its health increased on Endor, since the rebels seem to win there the vast majority of the time, and rebel vehicle pickups have been moved closer to their spawns on all maps. You may have noticed that the Imperials can get to their TIE fighters and other vehicles much quicker than the rebels and start wreaking havoc before the match has barely started, so hopefully this will make things fair. Chat has now been added to the end of a round screen. I never really understood why you couldn't chat there, since you can in DICE's other shooters like Battlefield 4, and it's also really infuriating when you're about to type in that satisfying GG and then you lose your 3-second window to do it. The deployable blaster cannons, yaw and pitch restrictions have been slightly alleviated to allow more turning, so hopefully no more getting killed by that guy who's just a smidgen out of your turning arc. So finally we come to the explosive changes. Boba Fett's missile has had its auto lock removed. This system was kind of exploitative, like by jetpacking in the air, firing a missile at some infantry from an absurd distance and having to auto-lock them, then you could net yourself at least a kill almost 100% of the time. That was a bit OP, you saw people going 100 to 1 in games, so that's a good change. The impact grenade's radius has been decreased from 3 meters down to 2.5 meters, and its damage decreased from 130 all the way down to 90, so you can no longer kill players with 100% health. So we now see almost everyone running around with the thermal detonator instead. It already had a bigger blast radius and damage than the impact grenade, but now that discrepancy is even bigger. Add to that the fact that you can't outright kill anyone with it unless they're damaged, and it's looking like they've made it downright redundant. I'm not saying I like the explosive spam that it provided before, but I fear they may have leaned a little too far the other way. Explosive Shot has had its damage slashed by 50%. Again, that's a massive change. I haven't seen anybody using this card as a direct result of this. Yes, it was too powerful before, but I often use other cards like Personal Shield, Scamples or Focus Fire, depending on the situation, the blaster, and the loadout I was using. So now that it's only half as effective, there's just no way that I'm going to use it. Homing Shot has had its range reduced from 200 to 160. Nowhere near enough, if you ask me. This is by far the most annoying piece of crap to be killed by in Battlefront. But it's not the upper end of the range scale, it's the lower end. If somebody fires it from max range, I can usually get behind cover to avoid it. But the damn thing locks on so quick that I've often been outgunned by it at a distance of around 15 or 20 meters in CQB. I really think the range requirement should be at least 30 meters. Or perhaps another way to balance it could be to set a modifier on it, on its lock time, taking longer to lock on the closer you are to the target. Flash grenades now give a hit marker indication when you blind somebody, so no more lobbing a flash and running around the corner having not actually hit anybody with it. And finally, the Barrage has had its fuse time increased from 0.5 to 1 seconds up to 2 to 2.25 seconds. Its max damage reduced from 55 to 50, and its full damage radius decreased by 0.5 meters. So again, I think everybody is going to opt for the thermal detonator instead. Although whilst this has made the barrage much worse at what it used to be good at, which was clearing corridors, it's opened up a new niche for it. With the increased fuse time, you can now lob grenades further up in the air, having them rain down upon your enemies. So those are all the changes we've had so far. Most of them are good ones, but I fear that some of the star card changes may have been a bit drastic, and will simply end up making certain cards not worth using at all. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you've been having a lovely Christmas time if you celebrate, surrounded by your family. Hope you've gotten some presents that you wanted. So all the best, guys, have a lovely holiday, and I'll see you guys next time.